Life after 60 isn't a countdown, it's a breakthrough. It's the moment you stop letting fear, judgment, or expectations define you and finally choose you. This is the chapter where freedom becomes your greatest strength, wisdom becomes your fuel, and every day becomes an opportunity to rise higher than ever before. The most liberating shift that happens after 60 is the realization that what people think no longer has the power to control your life. For so many years, you may have shaped your choices around the expectations of others, family, society, coworkers, even neighbors whose names you barely remember. You walked through life trying to be responsible, reliable, respectable. You tried to be the version of yourself others wanted you to be, because that's what the world demanded. But now, after everything you've lived, everything you've lost, everything you've created, and everything you've survived, you reach a point where you finally understand something profound. Their opinions were never the truth. Their expectations were never the rule book. And their judgments were never a reflection of your worth. This is the freedom that comes with age. Not the freedom from responsibility, but the freedom from noise. After 60, you begin to see life through a new lens. You notice how much energy you used to waste worrying about things that never mattered. You remember the times you held yourself back because you feared being judged. The dreams you postponed because they seemed unrealistic. The risks you avoided because you didn't want to look foolish. You think of the moments when you stayed silent because speaking up might upset someone. And suddenly, it becomes clear none of those fears were real barriers. They were illusions created by a younger version of you who believed the world had more power over your life than you did. Now, with decades of experience behind you, you recognize that people will judge you no matter what you do. If you act, they will talk. If you stay still, they will talk. If you follow your heart, they will talk. If you follow them, they will still talk. The moment you understand this, you unlock the freedom to live for yourself. You no longer need approval, applause, or acceptance. You stop chasing validation because you finally see that the only person who needs to believe in your choices is you. This new chapter gives you permission to live boldly. You start doing things simply because they bring you joy. You choose peace over pleasing. You choose authenticity over acceptance. You choose your voice over silence. And the more you honor yourself, the more you feel alive in ways you never experienced before. You realize that time is precious, and every day wasted on worrying about someone else's opinion is a day stolen from your own happiness. You begin to trust your instincts more. You start embracing the things that make your heart feel light. You explore passions you once ignored. You take steps toward dreams you buried long ago. You protect your energy like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. You become more selective with the people you allow into your life. Not because you're guarded, but because your peace matters more than their approval ever did. And something beautiful happens when you let go of opinions. You become stronger. You become more grounded. You become more present. You become more you. For the first time in your life, you finally understand that living authentically isn't selfish, it's necessary. You don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You don't apologize for wanting more. You don't dim your passion, your voice, or your dreams. You show up fully, courageously, unapologetically. There comes a moment in life when you look back at everything you've been through and finally realize the past no longer has the power to define you. After 60, that truth becomes clearer than ever. You've carried memories, mistakes, regrets, victories, heartbreaks, responsibilities, and dreams for decades. Some of those experiences shaped you, some inspired you, and some wounded you. But now, in this chapter, you understand something transformative. You are not the person you were at 20, 30, 40, or even 50. You have grown through every season, evolved through every challenge, and learned through every loss. The past is not a prison. It is simply a place you've been, and you are free to leave it behind. Too many people let old stories control their present lives. They replay the same regret, the same failure, the same painful moment over and over, until it becomes the lens through which they view themselves. They believe that because something went wrong in the past, it will go wrong again. But after 60, life gives you the perspective to see that every experience you lived through was preparing you for who you are now. The failures taught you resilience. The heartbreaks taught you strength. The mistakes taught you clarity. The disappointments taught you patience. And the successes taught you what you're capable of. Everything served a purpose, even the parts you didn't understand at the time. When you reach this stage, you no longer carry the weight of being perfect. You no longer feel the need to hide your past or explain it. You stop letting old memories create fear around new opportunities. You begin to see your past as a story you lived, not a sentence you must serve. The beauty of this age is that you finally have permission to rewrite your narrative. You decide what stays in your heart and what gets released. You stop letting guilt or shame hold you hostage. You accept that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And now you know better. Now you see clearer. Now you have the courage to step forward without dragging yesterday behind you. Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting where you came from. It means refusing to let old wounds control your future. It means choosing healing over holding on. It means recognizing that the person you are today deserves peace more than the person you were yesterday deserved punishment. You understand that you cannot change what happened, but you can absolutely change what happens next. And that shift gives you power, real power. The kind that comes from self-acceptance. The kind that comes from wisdom. The kind that comes from finally releasing the emotional baggage you carried for far too long. With this new freedom, you begin to live with more intention. You allow yourself to grow even now. You give yourself grace for the things you didn't know and strength for the things you're learning now. You open your heart to new experiences, new connections, new joy. You let yourself dream again. Not childish dreams, but meaningful ones that align with who you've become. You realize the past is not something to escape or erase, but something to honor and outgrow. You embrace the truth that every chapter brought you here, but none of them have the authority to dictate the next. You are no longer defined by what happened to you or by what you once believed about yourself. You are defined by what you choose today. After 60, a profound shift takes place inside you. You realize that life is no longer about fulfilling obligations or meeting expectations. It becomes about something deeper, something more personal, living in a way that honors your soul. For decades, you may have carried responsibilities that consumed your energy and shaped the direction of your life. You may have put others first, set your dreams aside, or postponed your happiness because there simply wasn't enough time, resources, or freedom to choose yourself. But now the world looks different. Time feels more precious. Your priorities become clearer. And for the first time in a long time, you understand that your life still belongs to you. And it's never too late to claim it. This is the moment where you start giving yourself permission to live with purpose instead of pressure. You begin to see that your happiness is not selfish. It is necessary. You no longer feel the need to justify your desires or explain your choices. You start listening to the quiet parts of yourself, the parts that have waited patiently for you to slow down, pay attention, and truly live. You start asking yourself questions you haven't asked in years. What brings me joy? What gives me peace? What do I want this next chapter to look like? And instead of brushing those questions aside, you take them seriously, because now you understand the value of each day. You discover that life doesn't stop at 60. In many ways, it begins. You start exploring interests you never had time for. You pick up hobbies that bring you excitement. You step into new experiences with an open heart. You allow yourself to learn, to grow, to create, to reinvent. You understand that age doesn't limit your potential, fear does. And once fear loses its grip, you realize how much possibility still exists within you. You begin to see that you are not too old for joy, not too late for adventure, and not too far from the best version of yourself. You also become intentional with the people you allow into your life. You protect your peace. You distance yourself from negativity, drama, and relationships that drain your spirit. You choose connections that uplift you, conversations that inspire you, and environments that nourish your soul. You realize that at this age, your time is too valuable to waste on anything that steals your inner calm. You stand firm in your boundaries not because you're hardened, but because you finally understand your worth. In this chapter, you embrace your health with new gratitude. You find joy in taking care of your body, not out of pressure, but out of appreciation. You treat each day as a gift, not a guarantee. You learn to slow down, breathe deeply, and savor moments you once rushed through. You stop measuring your life by achievements and start measuring it by fulfillment, peace, and presence. And most importantly, you begin to choose yourself, not as an afterthought, but as a priority. You choose what makes your heart feel alive. You choose what aligns with your truth. You choose what brings meaning to your days. You give yourself permission to rest, to enjoy, to explore, and to live boldly. You no longer wait for the right time because you understand that the right time is now. This is the beauty of life after 60 ye, the freedom to live not for what the world expects, but for what your soul has always wanted. And in choosing yourself, you discover that your greatest chapter is not behind you. It's the one you're stepping into right now.